Welcome everyone on this spectacular June 1st sunny day, which is perhaps somewhat of an anomaly for Vancouver at times. Very nice to see so many familiar faces here, and I'll also mention there's another 20 or 30 people who are online and going to be here remotely with some degree of interaction with us. On behalf, my name is Andrew Wister, I'm Director of the Gerontology Research Center, and on behalf of Simon Fraser University, the GRC and department, I want to welcome you to the 30th Annual John K. Friesen Conference. The title of the conference is Forging New Frontiers in Aging Research, and this year's conference is a packed two-day hybrid event which will have live streaming showcasing cutting-edge research, practice, and policy on aging, celebrating the 40th anniversary of the GRC and department. I'd like to begin by recognizing that the land upon which the SFU Vancouver campus resides is on the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Wet'suwet'en nations. I'd like to acknowledge the history of this as we hold our conference today. Let me give you a very brief historical backdrop of the origins of the GRC and department, and I can't do this without mentioning one very special person, Gloria Gutman. I had a little break here because I always know there's spontaneous clapping at this point in my presentation. The GRC was established in 1982 by Gloria under a SSHRC Population Aging Strategic Grant, followed by 1983 with the Post-Baccalaureate Diploma Program. We were very fortunate over the years to have numerous endowments, including the Imperial Oil, Shoppers Drug Mart endowments, the BC Real Estate Foundation, the Tung Louie family, which supports the Living Lab, and many individual benefactors, and I see Lorna Court here, who's always at our events. I know Jesse Child is coming this afternoon, and some other individual benefactors as well. A list of all donors to the student awards, which we have many, as well as the lectureships will take place at the end of today's event, presented by Habib Chaudhry, Chair of the Gerontology Department. We'll also have a video that we put together for you, and that will be followed by a reception at the back of this room between 5 and 7, so we want everyone to come to that. I would like to take this opportunity to extend special thanks to John Friesen and his family. They created the funding for this conference in a significant endowment. And this conference embraces John's lifetime dream, the support of continuing education among agencies and individuals responsible for the planning, administering, and providing services to older adults. John passed away in 2010, and we miss him dearly. But I was talking to Barbara, and when we were commiserating how John would always be sitting right at the front of all the conferences, and when we made this acknowledgement, he would make this sign. So I'm doing that on his behalf. John's daughter, Melanie, is in Marrakesh, and she sends her regrets. She can't make this, she's at a wedding, but sends her best for this conference. John's photo and his full bio is at the back of your program, so please note that. A successful conference is built on the work of the organizing committee and supporting cast. I want to thank Habib Chaudhry, Chair of Gerontology, Gloria Gutman, of course, Professor Emeritus, grad students Samantha Teachman and Shauna Hopper, as well as the two Andreas who are helping us this morning, other volunteers, Anne-Marie Barrett, who has retired as manager, replaced by Dora Lau at the back of the room, and many other support cast members. In particular, I want to thank Sarah Key, our communication officer, who has certainly been the backbone and workhorse of this conference. From a personal perspective, I'm celebrating 32 years at SFU gerontology, during which time I developed the graduate programs, saw our unit becoming a department, and a significant growth in faculty, in research, staff, graduate students, and administrative staff as well. Details of these milestones are in the program, along with the bios, as I mentioned, and the mention of our 6 interdisciplinary thematic areas in the introduction on the program. Finally, the GRC and department are firmly housed in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, and on that note, I would like to introduce Jennifer Spear, Associate Dean of FAS, who will say a few opening comments on behalf of Dean Laura Weldon.
Good morning, everybody. I pass along the regrets of Dean Laura Weldon. She's at a conference in Toronto, and she wishes that she could have been here. I'm delighted to help welcome you to the 30th John K. Friesen Conference. One of the things I've really enjoyed about being an Associate Dean this past year is learning a lot more about all of the different faculties and research centers that we have in FAS. And I think gerontology and the GRC are really sort of jewels in the crown of FAS. This conference, as you know, is celebrating the 40th year of the establishment of the Gerontology Research Center and the Gerontology Department in 1982 and 83. The GRC was established with funding from the SHRC, Population Aging Strategic Initiative, and has had additional supports from several endowments that Andrew has listed. It has developed an international reputation as a leader in aging-related research and community engagement, and serves as a focal point for the research, education, and information on individual and population aging. It is embedded in a mutually supportive relationship with the department, as evidenced by strong student research opportunities. And currently, the center supports 25 researchers and staff, including 8 postdoctoral fellows, which I think is more than there are continuing faculty members. So that's a very high ratio of postdocs. The Department of Gerontology was first established with a postbaccalaureate degree program in 1983, and now offers undergraduate minors, master's degrees, and PhDs, and is the largest gerontology program in Canada. Its curriculum is interdisciplinary, based in the social and health sciences disciplines. It's experiential, in which students engage in some of their learning in community contexts, and is staffed by faculty who are committed to creating a stimulating, engaging, and caring culture for their students. It has a strong national reputation in educating and training gerontology professionals and researchers, with many gerontology alumni working in leadership positions with regional health authorities, senior care and service provider organizations, government departments and agencies, as well as faculty in academia. The faculty are national and international leaders in their respective areas, with a strong record of community-engaged research. And they are supported by large numbers of grants, with the average being more than $250,000 per faculty member. And it really is my pleasure to be here and to welcome you, and I hope you really enjoy your weekend and get a lot out of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. I would like to now call upon Wade Parkhouse, who's going to be giving a few comments on behalf of Joy Johnson, president of SFU. It's appropriate because I know Wade, well, I've known Wade for over 30 years, and he was an associate member of gerontology for 10, so welcome.
It truly is a pleasure to be here, and as Andrew said, we've been around a long time. I'm on my 34th year, and all of a sudden, gerontology means a lot more to me now. It's great to see Gloria, and I'm glad to see you've got the heels on there now. So used to working with Gloria over the years, and one of the highlights of my time is always running into her at these type of events and going forward. I think I saw Barbara over here as well. It's nice to see you again. And of course, Habib, I was talking to earlier. One of the key things when you're giving these notes and talking for the president is to recognize you're the last speaker. which means you have to listen to what everybody else has said because it's frequently in your notes for speaking tonight too, going on. But I do want to say a few things. First off, it's a pleasure to be back. Joy certainly wishes she could have been here, but she had other commitments today, so you've got me. But I did want to say that, you know, it's been 40 years. It's fantastic to see the growth and development of the center and the department over those 40 years. Particularly given, as Andrew said, I was an associate member for about 10 years, and it was in the early time, not quite in 1983, but certainly through the 90s. And the growth that has occurred in both the department and the work done by the GRC is phenomenal. And I did want to just mention a few things. Obviously, Gloria being the founding director was really important to the development of the center. One of the key things that I found that came through Gloria's time was just the number of endowments that were established to keep things going in the establishment of the center itself. Andrew's mentioned some of them that's going on. I do find it quite impressive the amount of work that has been done to generate the endowments to keep the center and the department going and to allow it to be what it is now. I was particularly fond of the creation of the Living Lab and the combination of working with BCIT over there, and that did occur during the time I was here. And so it was really a pleasure to see that and see how it's developed. One of the key things that Jennifer highlighted is just that this unit is committed to high quality research, and it comes through all the time. And not only the high quality research, but the transferring of that knowledge throughout the community, as evidenced by the conference today. It also, what's not readily apparent is the number of research networks, hubs, and collaborative projects, including the 2 labs purposed to collect data for the Canadian Longitudinal Study on Aging. This is a phenomenal amount of work by a relatively small unit here at SFU, and I'm particularly pleased to see how it has developed. The CLSA is the largest population study on aging in Canada, with a rich interdisciplinary data platform comprising of data from cell to society. And being a cell researcher myself, I really appreciate the ability to blend through to society. It brings together over 160 researchers from across the country, representing multiple disciplines. Good work, Andrew. One of the other things I was particularly proud of, I had moved on, was the Associate Dean in Applied Science at the time, and this is when the PhD program came through. And so having been involved more from a committee perspective on things at that time, and looking at the development of the PhD program and how it has evolved over the last 15 years, that was a significant accomplishment at the time, and I really want to express my both appreciation and acknowledge the hard work that it took to develop it into what it is now. One of the key things we've talked about is the quality of the research, but one of the things that always impresses me as the provost is I get to look at the people that made things occur. And the faculty here are known both nationally and internationally in their respective areas. It's a tremendous accomplishment. I also want to acknowledge the work done by Abib in this work, and it's been wonderful. As Andrew said, you know, I was a member here for about 10 years, and actually had the lab across the way from gerontology at that time as the director back in the late 90s. And one of the key things was the relationship that seemed to be able to be forged with gerontology across the university. It was readily apparent they loved to collaborate, they loved to be interested. They were a striking example of what a unit can do when it thinks about things from an interdisciplinary perspective and moves forward. I am particularly proud of what has been accomplished and really pleased to see what the future holds for it. Thank you for your time. I understand you're going to have a wonderful couple of days. I do have to run, but I'm really pleased and hope you enjoy your 2 days here at the conference. Thank you.